Welcome to a special edition of the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. My name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital, the sports tech venture capital company. On this show, I interview top sports entrepreneurs, athletes, and executives who are truly shaping and many times changing the overall sports business industry. Today, we are going to talk about the new groundbreaking partnership between Major League Baseball and our 76 Capital portfolio company, Diamond Kinetics. Our guests today are Casey Brett, Major League Baseball's Vice President of Gaming and New Business Ventures, and David James, Major League Baseball's Vice President of Baseball and Softball Development, and a return guest, the CEO of Diamond Kinetics, CJ Handron. Casey, David, and CJ, welcome back to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.
Well, really excited to have all of you on the show. This has been one of those things that, CJ and I have been talking about for years, since we've been an investor at 76 Capital in Diamond Kinetics. Casey and I, you and I have had this conversation about how can we somehow bring this amazing company together along with Major League Baseball. And David, we're excited to have you on the show and talk about this from your perspective as well. But let's get started. I mean, Casey, from Major League Baseball's perspective, what does this strategic partnership with Diamond Kinetics mean to you and the rest of the league?
Yeah, it means a lot. And thanks for having me. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. I feel like, in many ways we've been working with Diamond Kinetics in different capacities, especially on our, prospect development pipeline, a lot of our draft initiatives for years. And we've always kind of been really waiting for the right opportunity to really expand the partnership. And now is really the right time. So we're really excited. CJ and I have kind of had a good relationship for many years, and it's always been kind of this discussion of, again, Wayne, you kind of hit this on the head, that leveraging digital to really help improve instruction, improve accessibility for our kids and our baseball and softball players alike, to make the game more fun, to really leverage the digital platforms that we have to not only provide really quality instruction, but then also to kind of create these types of gamified experiences and these open opportunities to kind of connect, compare yourself to Major League Baseball players, find the right types of plans that, whether you're a casual fan or somebody who really does want to get drafted and play at the next professional level, Diamond Kinetics provides a lot of outlets for us to do that. Not to mention the fact that they have this really incredible reach with basically every single youth baseball, softball organization that really we want to have a better relationship with. And so from a business perspective, it makes total sense. I think it really aligns well with MLB's overall strategy in the baseball development space, which I know David can speak to at depth and at length. But again, it's been a long time coming, and I think this is just, again, a real testament to CJ and his team, a testament to just the technology that they've been able to develop, and more importantly, just the connections and quality of product that clearly has a really great product and market fit, and something that we think was just going to continue to grow in the future. So we're incredibly excited about it.
Well, I think you said something really interesting right there, Casey, is that this is sort of, we've been talking about it for a while, but this seems to just be the right time for this. And David, I'd love to get your perspective here, because, as part of this partnership, Diamond Kinetics will become the trusted youth development platform for Major League Baseball, not only just for baseball, but I think it's really important to also mention from a softball perspective as well. And David, you're involved in all these areas. With Major League Baseball, as well as with on the softball side of things. Love to hear your thoughts on this partnership.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here. And really, as you guys were talking, and the word that kept running through my head was access. And that's a lot of what we do in baseball, softball development, making sure that everyone has access to the game. And whether that be, some of our higher end athletes that, go to some of our development events that we do in conjunction with USA Baseball, USA Softball, making sure that those kids have an opportunity to be seen, pursue college scholarships, and most importantly, that they get access to the technology to get better. But then it's also important in the grassroots work that we do in regards to, hey, make sure you come out and play. And if you're 10, don't worry about your abilities yet. Come out and have fun. But what we're also seeing is this technology, even for the basic player at the beginning, there's a desire to, to compare themselves against the technology and against others. And that's causing more engagement in the game, that they realize, hey, there's tools in place now that I can track, and I don't necessarily have to do that at an expensive cost, because that's also important to us to make sure that the communities that historically we've seen a decline, that we're re-engaging with them. And because we're baseball partners like Diamond Kinetics, we want to make sure that they have access to all the resources.
I think that's a great way of putting it. I mean, access is everything, and that's how, we want the next generation of to be able to, love the game as much as we all do, right? And be able to play it, and then look, CJ. I mean, one of the things that we talk about all the time, and I'm so excited to get your take on this this groundbreaking partnership, is really this idea of reaching the players today where they are, because when they show up at the field, they've got their bag, their big giant bag. The younger kids, the bag's bigger than the kids. It has 2 bats coming out of the back of the backpack. There's a couple gloves in there, batting gloves, a helmet, different balls in there. But then what's in their back pocket? Their cell phone, right? They have their phone in their back pocket, and that softball player, baseball player, typically their coach says, put that back in your bag, put that in your back pocket, put that on the bench, and don't play with it. What this now, all the different tech that you have at Diamond Kinetics allows you to sort of bring these worlds together and enable you to actually get better and learn more and have more fun. So I'd love to hear your thoughts of this historic partnership between Diamond Kinetics and Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Wayne, you really summarized that, as well as I would say it in some respects, right? We talk a lot about, this, where we have a generation of kids playing baseball and softball that they're digital natives. I have a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old. I wear my dad hat in this. I'm dad coach for their, community teams. And then I wear my Diamond Kinetics hat. They're better and more adept at using technology, than I am really at this point, in some respects, certainly than my parents are. And it's become a piece of, what they kind of look for and kind of expect. And it's not to replace the wonderful aspects of the game of baseball and everything that comes with, being on a team and learning to play a game and everything that comes with that. But there's a tremendous, I think, opportunity to enhance and complement that. And use technology to our advantage. One of the things that we stress here is we can provide access. When we started this company, that was really at its core. This is a very accessible technology, and it's just getting more accessible seemingly by, the day, the week, and the month, in terms of capabilities of our mobile devices and sensor technology like what we've developed. But at the end of the day, we've got this opportunity to then cross that over and still do very real, fundamental core baseball activities, but inject and utilize technology from both a fun perspective and a learn and get better. I always talk about, putting my dad and dad coach hat on. It's not about metrics for my 9-year-old, but the Bat Path Challenge game that we have in our app. He's learning consistency. He's learning how to have a better bat path. He doesn't really even know that, but he's earning points and he's trying to beat his personal high in a little 10-swing challenge. And so we think there's some really interesting ways, and we're excited to work really closely with MLB, create some of these experiences in our app with MLB and with MLB's brand and their clubs to make that fun and connect it as best we can to what they're watching and seeing happen on the big league field.
Well, CJ, from a Diamond Kinetics perspective, I know it's a little early and there's a couple things, but is there anything that you can share? Maybe what are some of the maybe different types of throwing games that you'll be able to now do because of this partnership, or swing type games, or things that you're going to be able to do as a kid to have fun and, as you said, learn at the same time?
Yeah, I can tease a couple of examples there. One of the things that we're interested and excited about here is we think there's some really cool and unique ways to connect what we see in a broadcast with StatCast data and things that are becoming, we're getting accustomed to seeing those as we watch a game. We've got some really interesting ways to create little challenges and games and competitions in your own backyard, using that data and seeing, what happened on, the field last week with your favorite player and how hard or how far they hit a ball, and creating a modified and varied version of that same experience for you in your backyard. An example on the pitching side, we're starting to look at a game like called pitching tic-tac-toe, and it's just learning how to be able to understand controlling where the ball goes and how you throw it. We think there's some really cool ways to kind of cross that over with MLB as well. And so, we're looking primarily for activities and experiences that they're fun. They put a smile on your face, but behind the scenes, we're actually working on something, right? We're working on how that skill develops, and we're doing it, in unique and engaging ways.
Well, Casey, why is this partnership with Diamond Kinetics so important for Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I think it's, all leagues are, nowadays, especially, we're not just competing against, ourselves per se for like eyeballs. We're competing against the likes of Netflix and Xbox in many ways, right? So, all leagues are just, frankly, we need to be really prioritizing youth participation as a means for just increasing fandom with our sport, right? Like the number one predictor for any sport, and this is like 100% clear with us, but like the best predictor of whether or not you're a fan of MLB was whether or not you played baseball or softball growing up, right? Like, so it's been a huge investment and a real testament to, Tony Reagans and David and the rest of the baseball development group for all the work they've done to really emphasize, participation in these sports, with a number of initiatives like Play Ball, like RBI, like Urban Youth Academy. We have pitch hit and run competition. We have the junior home run derby competition. We do a bunch of stuff that is a lot of operational, boots on the ground, grassroots efforts to just grow the game and make it, again, accessible, affordable, and fun. And for us, I think the one thing that is now kind of the next iteration or phase of this, this huge investment from MLB is again trying to find the right digital touch points that allows to increase and broaden the reach even further, right? Like at the end of the day, there's only even if we were to host a tournament in every single city in America, there's a lot of times in the calendar that we just can't reach kids, right? Diamond Kinetics, if it's being used by a kid in a little league, we have no touch point. Now all of a sudden we can have a digital connection with that kid. And now that now we can do these types of fun types of competitions that actually increase participation and could be one of these ways that we actually establish not just, improved instruction and like a higher likelihood of them continuing to play, but it'll make them a fan of baseball for life. And so, like, I can't emphasize this enough that just in general, like, we're going to be no different than a number of other partnerships that we have in the space. It's just Diamond Kinetics is going to be a critical digital touch point for us to just increase fandom for our sport for the long term. This is a huge critical component for us. And again, another reason why we just kind of continue to get excited and of these ideas and new opportunities that we're going to do with CJ and his team.
Well, David, I see you shaking your head to some of Casey's comments, and certainly with your role as Vice President of Baseball and Softball Development, this idea of bringing together, first of all, as you said earlier, just getting the access, having everyone have the opportunity to participate and play and be involved in this amazing game is important. But from a technology perspective, from kind of what's next in the world, not only just in the game, this must be really exciting for you with the role that you have now.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate with partners like Diamond Kinetics because what they do is help us meet the kids where they are at. This generation of youth that are playing our sport, they're learning about it in a lot of instances by watching and playing MLB The Show. And so technology is not foreign to them. And then we have a little bit of a dilemma here sometimes, us and the major league clubs and the minor league clubs, as we try to engage the game and the prevalence of travel ball. But then where do kids have the opportunity to get the reps in? Because as we know, not everybody's going to play every inning of every particular game. And we do advocate a lot of times the importance of community-based play, but we also know that there's that level of competitors out there, their families, sometimes their parents are pushing them. that they want to play the game, but they're not really getting that opportunity from a training perspective. So I think that's where CJ and team are helping us bridge some gaps and say, okay, listen, we know for right now, the travel piece is the most important thing for you. But really, if you want to, get better and you're pursuing the college scholarship, here's some easy, cost-effective tools that are available to you. That's going to make you a better player, and it's not necessarily going to diminish what you do, at that competitive level. But then that also is a big play for us in the grassroots side, and especially when we go into some of these underserved communities and to be able to provide them these tools, and we're opening doors, for a lot of these kids in their communities, and they're finding new ways to engage with the sport.
Yeah, those are really great points. I mean, and Casey, from a business perspective, just from an overall business perspective for Major League Baseball, I'm assuming this is something that not only is important, but is something that, this rises all the way up, to the commissioner himself and the rest of you and the rest of the executives as something that's really important to make sure that you have this engagement across from the youngest fans all the way up to some of the oldest fans of Major League Baseball. And this is something that will really start to tie together all of these important parts of what you're all about over there at Major League Baseball.
Yeah, 100%. Like the youth baseball, softball market is it's no different than a lot of esports. It's tremendous, and so there is a lot of like business opportunity. But I think the critical thing for us is that it's we're not just commercializing to commercialize, because I think it'll exacerbate a lot of the problems that we see with the industry as a whole, right? Like the game getting more expensive, like the game becoming a little bit too travel ball focused, forgetting about the ability to kind of just create fun, meaningful interactions. And so we've been really selective about who we want to work with. And that's again, goes back to, CJ and his team. It's like, they're approaching this in the right way. They're viewing this as a means of gaining, making the game more fun, making it accessible for us. For us commercially getting involved in this allows us to have, a better influence to make sure that CJ can keep his products affordable, to have it be something where, we have it be something where, every kid can get a Diamond Kinetics experience and a touch point in a meaningful way, and have it be a part of their, overall baseball participation initiative for the future. So, for us, I think we really do see a lot of opportunities in this space. But we're going to be really looking at leadership and the people who are really approaching it in the right manner that really align with our goals and our mandate and mission as a league. And I think a part of this too, it's going to be exciting to work with CJ. Already we're working with CJ on different types of initiatives where Diamond Kinetics can get involved with RBI programs, with Urban Youth Academy programs, or with different types of, initiatives to bring, the right types of instruction to underserved communities as part of our All-Star Game Play Ball Park initiative. So there's a number of things that we're going to be doing, again, as that really tie in overall with this idea of, just again, growing the reach of baseball for every and softball for everybody who wants to play. And so for that's I think a kind of a critical component to this. It obviously, like it's just one of these nice things that aligns with the North Star of Major League Baseball, and something that we can really get behind fully.
And if I may, I do want to call out the importance of the clubs, the major league clubs. All 30 major league clubs are committed to this, to grow the game and make sure the kids have access. I'm sure CJ can talk about the number of clubs that he's working with. And I mentioned this earlier, the minor league clubs are coming. This is year one. So they're still figuring it out, but the volume of Zooms that we've had, baseball, softball development, with minor league clubs asking particular questions. And for example, Casey mentioned it earlier, pitch hit run and junior home run derby, the 2 national skills competitions. A lot of the minor league clubs, their sort of toe in the water is, hey, listen, we'll host the event, and the kids, they're actually competing on our minor league field. So we expect that portion of the business with minor league, once they get a year under their belt, then it's really going to take off with that group.
Well, I'm smiling when you're saying that, David, because CJ and I have been talking about the minor league opportunity for so long. And we were very excited, a year ago when kind of the restructuring of minor league and Major League Baseball. And we thought that was going to be such an interesting opportunity, for Diamond Kinetics moving forward. And, at the board level, CJ's had incredible support from Bob Nutting, the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, as well as the ownership group of the Dodgers and Elysian Park and Cole Van Nice and that group. I mean, CJ, talk a little bit about, the support that you've had from owners and ownership groups and other investors and the league now. I mean, this is like, it's all coming together. The plan that you and Buddy Clark shared with me the first time we ever met. I mean, here we are. It seems like it's all happening now.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this, ties back to where some of this started with Casey and that idea of timing, and in reality, I think if, 3 years ago we sat here and said we were getting ready to do all this, I don't think it was ready. I don't think we were ready, and I don't think that, that baseball was in the right place, either, where we all understood what should it be. And so, David talks about the clubs and we work with a number of clubs and think there's a lot of opportunities to support club initiatives down at the community level. We're doing this with the Pirates. We work closely with the Dodgers, who you mentioned, and their EL1 program. And there is just this opportunity to have a very kind of broad touch across a lot of the things that are important to Major League Baseball, and the technology is in a place to be able to support a lot of that. I think from a company perspective, we've been a baseball and softball company since the beginning. That's what we are. It's in our blood. It's the only thing that everybody here kind of eats, sleeps, and breathes. And we think that's important in all of this, because we do have a view and a vision that, when we started this company, Buddy and I, had this conversation. It was like, listen, we care a lot about the game, right? I attribute a lot of the important things in my life to the game of baseball. My closest friends, I just did my fantasy baseball draft last week, and it's the 21st year of our fantasy draft. And most of these are folks that played Little League with. Most of my friends, my teamwork, my, learning to fail, leadership, all of those things I attribute to the game of baseball, right? And so, and Buddy was similar. And I think at that point we said, listen, first and foremost, we just believe there's an opportunity with this concept and technology to have a strong positive impact on these two games, right? That's first and foremost. And it ties to a lot of things we talked about here. It's access. It's shortening the learning curve on skills that are hard to learn. It's injecting that level of fun where practice can start to be a grind, and it's hard to learn how to fail. we've all watched a lot of kids, learn to try to throw and catch and hit. They're tough skills, right? And so we've got a great group around us. You mentioned, and obviously we put 76 Capital right at the top of that list with the ownership group of the Pirates and the ownership, investment arm of the Dodgers. And it's all with that kind of unified goal of we've got an opportunity to have a really strong, sustaining, positive impact on the games. And when you do that, the things that you want to have happen in your business tend to waterfall off of that, right? You have a core principle and tenet. So a lot of the things that we do now and that we will continue to do around MLB experiences, they won't cost anything. Right? We aren't trying to, put a wrapper around every single part of this and say, oh, if you want to do this and it's got an MLB thing on it, then you pay us. That a lot of this is to be able to bring that, whereas you just kind of download the app and get involved in our community. We're going to have a lot of those things available to you. And that's to that point of access and engagement.
So let's talk about the future a little bit, CJ. I mean, my partner Chad, always talks about this idea that all bats and balls and sticks and everything will be smart moving forward. Talk about the future of what you start to see where, truly that, everything will be smart. Everything will have this technology. Everything will kind of, these physical and digital worlds will come together, and the next generation of athletes and softball players and baseball players will be able to use all the greatest and latest technology to truly, not only just be a really good player, but also have so much fun playing at the same time.
Yeah. I think the way I would describe that is, the technology, like a sensor in a ball or a sensor that can go on your bat or in your bat, it's just going to move further and further into the background, right? And if that means it's becoming just part of the bat, it's there and it's around you, and you're not really thinking about it that much in terms of like what it's doing in that moment. You're just playing. You're playing the game. You're utilizing it, and whether that is through your phone, your camera, the sensor, the bat. There's a lot of different ways that comes together. But we talk a lot here about trying to have that entire experience just generally feel magical, right? It's just happening around me. And then as I'm playing the game and, that sensor is tracking my swing, or that ball is tracking that throw, I'm not even really thinking about it, but that's then being used to facilitate this experience when you come into the mobile app environment. And so I think that's our quest is, the more and more that you don't think about it as you're in that real-time moment, and the more that it's just kind of doing magical things for you and with you, the better. And I think that's the natural iteration. You start in kind of phase one of all these things, and it's like, it may not look pretty, it may not work perfectly, it may not attach to a bat, but you got to start somewhere, right? And that's the evolution over time. Again, to Casey's, coming back to where we started, it comes back to timing, right? And you got to have a lot of those things kind of mature and being in the right place. And I think the next iteration of all of this is going to be really exciting.
Well, Casey, you think about what's next, right? You've been in the world of baseball with your family, yourself personally now, working in the game all of these years now, and as Casey, as CJ's talking about, kind of the magical use of this next generation technology, the fact that you're connecting, the kids swing to the phone and they're able to, just like a major leaguer, when the major leaguer, what do they do when they, go into the dugout and they put their helmet in the rack and they walk around the corner? They're going to that video room, right? They're checking out that swing. And now that can happen across the whole country and the world with any kid playing baseball and softball because of these types of this type of technology and this kind of partnership. It must be super exciting for you.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, I go back to the days that I was playing in high school, and just I really wish I could have had like a Diamond Kinetics sensor to be able to use in some capacity, because I feel like maybe I would have had like just a little more of a chance of playing to the next level. It is what it is. But no, it's honestly like the hat I wear now in much more of like business licensing capacity at MLB. The thing that like what I actually get the most excited on a lot of times is, obviously a lot of people know that baseball suffers from a little bit of like, being able to expose some of the top talent in America to the next level, right? Like we have this situation where we have so many kids, being drafted out of high school, but we don't have a whole lot of content on them. There's barely enough, barely statistics on them at the high school level. They show up, for the draft, and then, they go away to the minor league baseball, and then they show up, for their major league debut at some point. And, for us, it's what is really kind of unique and exciting about, this One Baseball initiative that the commissioner has really put as a focal point for us and our overall strategy. Again, like finding more touch points across all baseball, softball, like just getting us to be more like aware and at least plugged in with all the various aspects. It's technology like that CJ and his team have developed that's going to allow us to really actually tell the story of from the day a player was 12 to the day they play through high school to the day they make their appearance at the MLB Combine to the draft through minor league baseball and MLB. We now have touch points across all, which is really, a transformational kind of event for us. And I think it's going to help us, market and promote our players more effectively, market and promote the unique storylines. Like it's going to help us from a scouting perspective to actually identify the top talent. It's going to be able to, make people feel as though they're a part of, the MLB touch points throughout their experience with MLB, whether or not, even if they stop playing at some future point in time. My hope is that, they'll like look back on touch points, which are like Diamond Kinetics, that then allow them to, hopefully, maintain their MLB fandom in the future. So again, it's technology unlocks a lot. I think this is just the first, step in a multi-phased, digital evolution for the sport, at the participation level. And yeah, again, I can't emphasize this enough how exciting it's going to be over these upcoming seasons.
David, I'm sure you have something to add there. I mean, this is an opportunity again to enable you to really just have this, more and more people have the opportunity to experience these amazing games.
Well, technology is so important because I mentioned this earlier. This generation of kids, that's how they engage with everything through technology. And CJ was talking earlier. One of the things at the height of the pandemic that I learned this is my guilty pleasure was MLB The Show every evening at 11 o'clock at night. But from the standpoint of understanding launch angle and things like that, that's where those kids are. That's where they're practicing at if they're not doing it in person. And you can best believe that they're taking the learnings from playing the game. They're using that with Diamond Kinetics, but they're utilizing that when they're actually out there on the field. So meeting them where they're at is really important to us, and letting them see that there's, multiple ways that they can engage in the sport.
Well, I think it's interesting what you just said. I mean, whether it's MLB, The Show, whether it's just watching a broadcast on the MLB network, on ESPN, or on just any network, right? You're seeing this. You're seeing the announcers and different graphics on launch angle. You're seeing the speed. You're seeing speeds of the ball. You're seeing spin rates. You're seeing all of this stuff. And as a young person, either playing softball or baseball, you're thinking about those same things. Your coaches may be talking to you about all that stuff, but how do you actually learn how to increase the spin rate if that's what you want to do, or increase your velocity, or increase your what's the correct launch angle for your type of body type and your type of swing, and like all those types of things? How do you actually do those things so that someday maybe you can become that person that you're watching on TV?
And that's such an important part that you mentioned as it relates to our sport, stick and ball sport. It's the repetition. And one of the things that we fight against at times is the lack of practice, the lack of repetition. It shouldn't just be the games. It's an opportunity to learn skills, to hone your craft, to let you compete at the highest level. So a lot of the programming that we do, it's about continue to play, and there's nothing wrong with practice, and it's okay. I think travel has sort of impacted us a little bit. At the highest level of our game, a 1 for 3 is a good day. So, that's part of it. Tournament ball has sort of skewed that a little bit, but the game is hard, and that's okay too.
And that's an interesting point. I mean, 1 for 3 is you're a Hall of Famer if you do that. But again, it's an unbelievable opportunity here. And as we wrap up here on our this really special edition, and I mean special edition of our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show, I've been waiting for this opportunity, and I hope that we'll get an opportunity to continue this conversation as this partnership really rolls out over this season and next year, and all the incredible things that are going to be happening here. So as we wrap up, I would we'll just kind of go around the horn here and start with Casey on some some final thoughts or some initial thoughts, or kind of like what we're going to see happening over the next several months, and just the overall kind of a wrap up and excitement about what your thoughts are here.
Yeah, no. Well, again, I really appreciate the opportunity to join and talk about the partnership again. We couldn't be more excited. I think, the thing I'm probably the most excited for is actually the launch of the new updated platform that CJ. I think it's going to really kind of tease out, really again, some of these new exciting features and just the ability for us to leverage the MLB IP within the DraftKings platform in a meaningful way. And I think people will clearly see, just by those first use cases, you're oh, there's a lot more that could be done. So I don't want to overly share or anything like that, but I would just encourage people to check out the new updated features once they launch later this summer, and that's going to be something I'm very, very excited about.
David?
Really excited about the work that we've done with CJ and Diamond Kinetics this far, and I suspect that this is really going to grow. We're talking about some things in regards to All-Star Week and kids that we're bringing in from across the country that are going to have an opportunity to utilize the technology and make it fun and make sure everybody has an opportunity to play.
All-Star Week in Los Angeles, right?
That is correct.
Very exciting. Very exciting. CJ?
I'll wrap it up with my enthusiasm around, the end-to-end collaboration on this. I think we have taken the time to think through it the right way. It's been, exciting. Even though we're sitting here saying we're in the starting blocks, we've done a lot of background work here, and seeing Major League Baseball's approach to, just thinking creatively, open-mindedly, and I think with kind of a broad brush, has been really exciting, and ideas are already starting to flow, it's just we're excited. We're excited to have an opportunity to further impact the game. We're excited to be working so closely with Major League Baseball on this, and the next months and years are going to be a lot of fun.
Well, this has been an incredible special edition of our 76 Capital Leadership Show. Again, thanks to Casey Brett, David James, CJ Handron. This has been awesome. I cannot wait to see what happens for so many reasons. I'm just really excited about this, and want to wish everyone, a lot of luck with this partnership, and can't wait to continue to watch and see what happens next. So again, thanks to everyone who is listening or watching the show. This has been an amazing special edition of our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show, and hope that everyone has an amazing day. And you know what you got to do. You just got to go out there and go make it happen. And that's what it's all about. Thanks, everybody.